Please tell me that I can't, that I won't, that I fail, that I'll never make it out, yeah. Please tell me all the bad, never good, fill my head full of every single doubt, yeah. Please say any negative thoughts, I pop off when I hear people say I cannot. I get off to the thought of proving everyone wrong, I won't stop to the top, so you better back off and get lost. I'ma stay loud, stay proud, never running out, never heading south. I'll be spreading out, call it word of mouth, can't put me down, I'll be getting loud. You can have it douse, not what I'm about, have your f***ing cloud. It be raining now, I keep making sound, go another round, I'm legend bound, can't stop me now.
You don't wanna fuck with me, a slow burn like a disease. Just tell me that I can and I'll show you things that you couldn't believe. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can. Just tell me that I can.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Unscripted. Again, you got me, you got Babyface Logan. Say what's up, my brother.
Hey, what up, everyone? Happy, Tuesday? Hope y'all are having a good week. We got some good topics tonight, Jay.
Oh, we got a whole lineup. Hey, again, Gonzo's not with us tonight. He's not feeling well, so we get the night off. We'll catch Gonzo back on Thursday. But, man, hey, before we get into this show, please, you can check our content out on Facebook under Unscripted. You can also find it on ASAP's Facebook page, YouTube, and Tiki Live, so forth. But you can also find Unscripted on Twitter. If you go to Unscripted Guys, all one word, you can check us out there, or on TikTok, Unscripted Sports, all one word as well. Or you can go to YouTube under Unscripted, followed by the date of the show. And you can catch our content out there as well, man. Appreciate everybody joining. Logan, let's go ahead and kick this bad boy off. A lot of opening news, a lot of crazy things going on in the world. First off, Judge has still not signed a damn contract. We know he has gone to San Francisco. We know that he's been offered well over $300 million. I think last I heard was $360 was in the rumors, $360 million. I believe it's supposedly 9 years. Still has not signed. What's up with Judge, man? Is he going to sign with San Fran and take that big bank roll, or does he think he signs back over there with the Empire Yankees?
According to John Heyman, he already signed, right, Jay?
My
God.
That's what he says, quote unquote.
If you haven't seen the tweet by now, it's still up there. I don't know why you haven't deleted it. But John Heyman, very trusted source in the sports world, especially in baseball, he put out basically that the Giants signed Judge. And then about, 5 minutes later said, basically, my bad. My sources weren't right. And I'm sure Frankie had a heart attack for about 5 minutes or so whenever he saw that news. It does look more likely, Jay. It does look likely, though, that he is going to go to San Fran because they got a lot of money to blow.
Yeah.
And that would be a big cornerstone piece for them, for a team who is a bit up and down somewhat. We know that this past year, not the greatest, right? But, I still think they could get it done. And if they get him, that's going to be huge. But, yeah, I think it's only a two-team race. It's either going to be the Giants or the Yankees. No other team, unless, hell, maybe he'll shock us and go somewhere wild like the Cincinnati Reds. Hey, Chris.
Hey.
Wishful thinking for him, right?
Yeah, you just don't know. By the way, John Monroe, man. Hey, what's up, my brother?
What up?
Yeah, go Cowboys. Let's go, baby. Cowboys. Man, we're going to talk about that here in a minute. So I don't want to give it all away. But, yeah, man, Cowboys are killing it right now. Other baseball signings, we saw Bellinger sign a $17.5 million with the Cubs for 1 year. I thought that was a dumb move on the Cubs' part. Bellinger sucks. He hasn't been relevant in a hot minute. The last time Bellinger was relevant was 2019 when he got the NL MVP. Since then, his slash line has gone to shit. I think the guy's hitting maybe a little bit over 205. Still good on the defensive side. Don't get me wrong. Bellinger will still give you the defensive props. But when you need him in the lineup, he's going to let you down every single time. And I just think that was the worst $17.5 million that they could have done. Any word on the Bellinger? How do you feel about the I know Mike Hughes has got to hate this move.
Honestly, Jay, I don't hate the move only because it is for one season. I mean, you look at it, and $17 million might look like a good bit, but I mean, with how much guys get paid nowadays, it ain't that bad. I mean, look, they've struggled, right? The Cubs have been rough for a few years now. We know the awful Jason Hayward extension that they got for him, and he ended up doing nothing. So, I mean, I think that it's just a prove-it deal. You know, if he doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If it does, maybe we'll see if he gets a longer deal. But it's a one-year prove-it deal because, like you said, he struggled recently. So this is their chance to be able to look. If you can do it, you can sign a bigger contract. If not, oh well.
You know, John goes on to say our baseball player, sports figures worth these huge contracts. Look, man, I've been saying for years, and this is just my opinion, and people hate me for this, but no, in my opinion, they are not worth these big $100 million contracts, whatever. I'm sorry. It's still entertainment. It's not like you went to school for 15 years and you're doing neurosurgery, okay? Let's be honest. You're not doing neurosurgery. But again, this is the world of entertainment. And as in the world of entertainment, unfortunately, that is what the job description pays. Whether you like it or not, that's just what the job description pays.
And Jay, I mean, I'm sure you've seen that. I don't know if it's confirmed or if it's just all signs are pointing to it, that Ronaldo in soccer is about to sign, or has signed, I'm not too sure, a 2.5 year deal, right, for $200 million per season. Per season. That is insane.
I don't know. I don't know why he's passed that $200 million a year deal up. Me personally, I think that's just incredibly crazy to me. But hey, I'm sure Ronaldo, there must be something out there that has even more lucrativeness than that. But again, do I think anybody like that is worth this kind of money? I just got to be honest with you, man. I don't believe anybody is worth that kind of money. I just don't. I just don't see one person, you know, with the amount of time that you spend on the field, that hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is, and then you get a lot of you don't really get time off because you're still conditioning. You know, there's a lot of things that go on off season that, you know, you're getting paid. So I get all that. But my theory is, if a guy goes to school for X number of decades to finally get a paycheck, to do something that none of us really could honestly do because it's just so intricate and you're dealing with somebody's life, literally somebody's life. Those are the kinds of people that I think the skill set deserves that kind of money. But again, that's just my viewpoint, and it does not reflect the viewpoint of the show. I understand entertainment is still entertainment, and as long as entertainment's around, they're going to pay that kind of money. So it is what it is. Hot dogs, beers, everything's going up in price. Like I said, I think I paid $11 at an Astros game for a beer, and it was insane. But anyway, let's go on real quick. First baseman Bell just signed a 2-year, $33 million deal with the Guardians. He left the Padres for that. And then again, he really wasn't doing too well. 203, 222, 376. That was the splash line. Bell really didn't do a whole lot over there with the Padres, but the Guardians needed a first baseman, and I think that was really kind of all that was available. What do you think? Excuse me. What do you think about the Bell contract?
Yeah, I think it's a good pickup for Cleveland. You know, they've got a good roster. Shocked a lot of people last year, getting as far as they did in the playoffs. And I mean, I think with now you get him, who whenever he's hitting well, Jay, he can be a good productive bat. And you know, of course, you got Ramirez over there at third. I mean, that's a pretty good looking team. I mean, they're building around their pieces and hopefully trying to get back to the ALCS this year. So we'll see if they can do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, moving on to other news real quick. OBJ still has not made a decision. We know that he just left the Dallas Cowboys, so he's actually made all 3 visits with the 3 teams that he's looking at. And currently, I think Dallas kind of still has a little bit of the edge there. But it was interesting. Jones, I think, still has some reservations about it. We know that he went through the health check with the Cowboys. We know they looked him over at medically. I still think it's just kind of like from the Cowboys' perspective, they got James Washington, who looks like is going to be able to make it back by the playoffs. And so now I think Jerry's kind of wondering, well, do we really need to bring in an Odell when we got Washington getting ready to come back? So I think that kind of now is putting some doubt in Jerry's mind. I think also he's thinking, I don't know, man, multi-year deal, possibly health. I mean, I think there's a lot of questions. And also there's questions out there is some of these ownership groups that maybe they don't even bring him back this year. Maybe they bring him back next year at the beginning of the season, which I've been saying all along is what he needs to do so he can be successful. Go through the mini camps, go through the training camps, develop your chemistry, and then come out onto the field. But, hey, that's what I know. We'll see what else everybody else knows. But, Logan, as we bring Frankie, Foxborough Frankie, into the conversation, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, guys? How's it going? How's it hanging? I miss you guys. It's not Foxborough Frankie C today, as you can see. It's Frankie Laker C. Getting ready for this game tonight.
Yeah, speaking of the Lakers, I was actually going to talk about that here in a sec, but I guess we'll go ahead and, since you brought it up, we'll just kind of hit that up a little bit. Actually, no, let's finish Odell Beckham real quick, then we'll come back to the Laker. Odell Beckham, Frankie, man, or actually, Logan, I apologize, I left off with you. Where do you see Odell Beckham? What do you see him doing? Where do you see him going? Do you think Dallas is still the prominent? Or do you think he's with Buffalo or the Giants?
I mean, it kind of looks like that Dallas is going to be the front runners to get him. They've been emerged as that team for a few weeks now. But I mean, Jay, if you're going to sign him, you got to sign him soon because the season's almost over. There's not that many weeks left, so you got to get something done soon so we can start building some chemistry with Dak and the rest of the offense. So, I mean, if he's not signed the next probably 2 weeks, give or take, I don't know if he might just be sitting on the sideline this year.
Yeah, I don't think he comes back. If he doesn't sign within the next week or two, I don't think he comes back at all. And just for that specific reason you're talking about, Frankie C. Laker. Jeez, you got so many names. I can't keep up with them all. Frankie the Laker. What are we thinking, man? What are we thinking? Odell Beckham. He's going to Buffalo. Where's he going?
Well, me and you have talked about this conversation literally all weekend, and we both had many disagreements. It would be smart for Odell Beckham to go to a team where he can contend, correct? Right. So in that mindset right there, you knock out the Giants. Just knock them out right there. We all know that the Giants are just like not a contender team with the quarterback that they have. So his best chances will either be Buffalo or Dallas. Now, Dallas does have the upper hand. They did have a meeting with him 2 days in a row, both yesterday and today. Hopefully we'll get more news on him later on in the week. But if it was me, I say that he will have a better chance to go to Buffalo just because, Odell Beckham wants to go to that winning contender team. Not that I'm saying that Dallas right now is not a winning contender team. Look what they just did on Sunday night against the Indianapolis Colts. They literally embarrassed them as a franchise. So, the Dallas Cowboys can do it. But is Odell Beckham Jr. going to look at them and say, well, can this team, do the unthinkable and finally win in the playoffs? That's what more matters for Odell Beckham. Compared with the Buffalo Bills, he knows that Josh Allen and the Bills have success recently winning games in the playoffs. Obviously, they haven't gotten to the Super Bowl, but maybe adding that caliber wide receiver like Odell can get them to the Super Bowl. And you can say the same thing with the Cowboys if you put him on the Cowboys. It's a great matchup with him in Buffalo and him with the Cowboys, just because they're both kind of equally the same to me. And that's what it was really hard for me and Jay, because we had a real argument on this. And I feel like he fits more well with Buffalo's program, but Jay understands that he feels he could be even better with the Dallas Cowboys. And I can't argue with Jay because I see Jay's knowledge on what he's saying with the Cowboys. Me personally, I feel like he'll have a better shot winning a Super Bowl or actually getting back to the Super Bowl with the Buffalo Bills. Defensively, they're good, and offensively, they got weapons. I mean, same thing with the Dallas Cowboys, but I feel like the Buffalo Bills are just a little bit stronger to contend for a Super Bowl.
Right, and the thing about it is, I think if you really look at the argument, there's pros and cons to either side. Whether he goes to Buffalo or he goes to Dallas, let's be honest, he ain't going to New York. They're just out the damn equation. He either goes to Buffalo or he goes to Dallas. So look at both sides of the equation. If you go to Buffalo,
Well, don't
Who
say
do you,
he's not going in.
hey, we know all, what I'm saying is we know in the AFC all roads go through KC. Now the Bengals are going to be in there. The Bengals are riding the ship. They're starting to look pretty nice, almost rounded back into that seasonal form when they got to the Super Bowl. So you're going to have to deal with Bengals. You're going to have to deal with KC. Those are going to be your biggest competitions if you're Buffalo. And don't knock out Miami. Again, I've been saying, hey, Miami can still pull that one. So there's a lot of competition right in there. And then again, the positive side of Buffalo is he'll be on, because correct me if I'm wrong, but they play on a grass field, correct? Which
No, I believe they play on turf.
Oh, and that just really screws it up because they are an open stadium. So number one, I was going to say if they were on a grass field, that would be much better for that ACL that he's recovering from, because we all know that AstroTurf seems to lend to a lot of knee injuries. But also up there in that cold weather, that's also not a good situation for an ACL injury or coming off an ACL injury. So the warmer climate would benefit that injury from him. And then, two, you got to go through the 49ers, and you're going to have to go through the Eagles. And you're going to have to – and then, of course, I guess you could throw in the Vikings in there as well. And, again, the Vikings, they do have a roof stadium, so you don't have to worry about that. But when you look at the 49ers, possibly Garoppolo comes back. The Liz Frank injury he avoided. They're saying he possibly could come back and return to the season. But either way, I think right now San Francisco, with that quarterback issue, looks a little shaky. So your really only competition would be, truthfully, the Eagles. So I don't know. I think for him personally, whether he goes to Dallas or if he goes to Buffalo, he's going to be used as a decoy. Let's just be honest. CeeDee's still the guy. Diggs is still the guy. He's just there to be a decoy to take some of the pressure off of Diggs or take the pressure off of Davis. Same thing for CeeDee and Gallup, which opens up the field, much like Amari Cooper did for Dallas. That's exactly what OBJ would do for Dallas, okay? So I think it's a horse apiece, quite honestly. I think for him it's going to come down to contract and money. He's won $20 million, 3 years. I think that's just a little rich, consider the fact that we don't know if he can last a damn season or not. So there's a lot of variables in there. Whether he comes back, we shall see. Let's move on real quick. Let's talk about the Heat real quick. They're possibly talking about trading or wanting to trade Kyle Lowry. I think they are realizing that maybe they just can't get there with Kyle. He's right. He's got 1 year left on a 3-year, $85 million contract. He's 37 damn years old. The Heat are 11-12, sitting at ninth. He's averaging about 14 points, 6 and 5 assists. His field goal percentage is still around 40, so he's still shooting the ball fairly well. But at 37, does anybody out there, do you think, that would trade for Kyle? I personally would see the Lakers packaging up Westbrook and what's his name over there, the mouthpiece, and send him over there for Kyle Lowry. I think Kyle Lowry, I love saying Kyle Lowry, makes me think of Bad Boys. I think he can facilitate that offense beautifully. And I also think he gives you a really good, strong presence at the three-point shot and also making shots. What's you guys' thoughts and opinions on the matter? Logan, I'll let you go first. Frankie second. What do you think, Logan?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, age is catching up to him. He's getting older. He ain't got much left in the league. So I think he'll want to try and, if possible, go to a team who is going to get to a championship, because Miami's been kind of off and on this year. Hasn't been red hot, hasn't been ice cold, just kind of in the middle. And it's just not working out there. So a fresh change could be nice. You mentioned the Lakers. They've got some bench pieces, whether it's Pat Beverly or even Russell Westbrook with that giant contract that they could try and get rid of. We'll see. I mean, there's a few teams out there I think who'll want him. There's not going to be a large list, but I think that if you can find like a young team who needs some vets just to help them out, I think that would be helpful. But I mean, I don't think he'll be a substantial go-to guy, we'll say, if he is to go to a contender. I think that as long as he can go in there, be a nice, guy coming off the bench, get you 10 points and a handful of assists, that's all you need from him. You don't need him to go out there and score 20, 30 every night. Just go out there, do what you can do, and don't turn over the ball, and you'll be fine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Frankie?
Well, let me just go out and say that I would absolutely love to get Kyle Lowry. I actually like Kyle Lowry. I mean, I've liked him for a really long time since he was with Toronto, honestly. And I still think the guy can still ball. I feel like the reason he's out on the trade market right now is because he doesn't fit well with the Miami organization. There's always that certain player that doesn't fit well in an organization. We've seen it many times with many different players. For instance, Russell Westbrook. He didn't look good last year. We all called him Russell Westbrook. This year, he opted in to sign that mega deal with the Lakers and stay with us. And he actually turned it around after becoming a bench player. I feel like Russell Westbrook has finally turned it around. He's looking good. He's getting productive points. He's getting the assists that he needs to get, and he's looking way better than he did last year. So if I was the Lakers, I will stick on keeping Russell Westbrook on the bench and trade away Patrick Beverley, because that man Patrick Beverley he's literally upsetting me. This man's shooting threes like crazy. He missed every single three that he shoots.
Yeah,
so
right.
He's a non-3-point shooter shooting threes.
Exactly. So I don't know.
He's never been known for hitting threes.
I mean, I understand what Coach Ham is saying. Like, he wants the team to shoot more threes this year than they did last year. But with this man, he's not making them. So you might as well just trade away Patrick Beverley to the Miami Heat, if Miami Heat want them, and bring in Kyle Lowry, and have both Kyle Lowry and Russell Westbrook come off the bench. Just how you have AD and LeBron James as the starters. And then you have Kyle Lowry with Russell Westbrook taking over the bench players. I feel like that'll be a great fit. I don't see any other team coming in to potentially grab Kyle Lowry. So I like the thought of him coming to the Lakers.
Real quick, Titans. The Titans fire GM Robinson over what I believe to be the revenge game by A.J. Brown. I think the Titans, they've won every year. I mean, they've had a winning record every year, been in the playoffs, whatever. But I think that letting go of A.J. Brown was just too much. And I think that the fact that the way they lost to the Eagles was too much for ownership to handle. We all know that Vrabel said over his dead body that he ever wanted to see A.J. Brown not in a Titans uniform. And, of course, the GM goes out and does exactly that. What's your thought process on that? Do you think that A.J. Brown, his performance, and everything that's gone along with that is the reason why they let go of Robinson, Frankie?
I think that's one of the big reasons that they let him go. They could have had like a better record right now because Burks already got injured twice in one season, and it's not looking really good with him. And this is the guy that you just drafted this past season,
Right.
during draft time. So it's not really looking good. You don't want to keep injuring this guy in his rookie year, especially if he's going to be a franchise wide receiver for your team. I do have a Titans fan that is friends with me, and I showed him that, and he was actually excited, and he said it brought joy to his heart to see the Titans move on from their GM, because the main reason was for him trading away A.J. Brown. So I do think that was a big major role on that. But we all agreed, and we talked about it outside of the stream, that something's got to happen behind closed doors. Something else had to ignite this for him to get fired literally late in the season when your team is sitting on top of the division, clearly looking to go into the playoffs. So something had to happen behind closed doors. It's got to be the AJ Brown thing and something else
back there. Oh, hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah. Because Logan, you don't let go of a guy who's had you in the playoffs, who's been doing great for the team. You don't just let that guy all of a sudden go and just out of the blue nowhere. Like Frankie said, there's something going on in the background. I'm pretty sure that Vrabel was pissed the hell off when they traded Brown. And I think when that Eagles game came up and Brown torched the crap out of him, that was just all that was needed to probably reignite an earlier conversation in the year that just basically was too much to not let go of Robinson. Would you agree with that, or do you have another scenario?
Yeah, I think that it wasn't the main reason, but it was definitely, I think, the catalyst in getting him fired a couple hours ago. Also, like you said, the timing is very strange. Also, it happened just after. Also, I mean, the Titans are in first place.
Right.
It's like you don't really ever see teams fire their general managers while their team is in first and more than likely going to win that division. So it's just very odd. No, it's very odd, and we'll see if more comes out, if there's another reason he got fired. Right now, it's just all kind of speculation. But yeah, I think that was kind of the main The main reason, seeing how Brown did against them, that probably caused ownership to say, all right, look, that's the final straw, and whatever else helped lead up to that, we'll find out. But I think that was just kind of the boiling point.
Yeah, and then we switch over to another thing like Baker. We know that Baker was released, claimed off waivers by the Rams. I really thought maybe San Fran might take a chance on that just because of their quarterback situation. But again, it was the Rams that took the bait. It was the Rams that brought him in. God knows the Rams are damn near at the bottom. I don't see the Rams even getting to the damn playoffs. Everybody's hurt over there. Why would you take a chance on Baker? Why not just ride it out? I mean, it just doesn't make it that hiring just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Even though they are getting Baker at a relatively cheap price, it still just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Logan, Frankie, let's go. Frankie, what do you think about the whole Baker to LA?
I'm gonna let Logan start off. I'm dealing with the kids real quick.
Oh no, you're fine, Logan.
Give me 5 seconds.
Yeah, well, Jay, like I said on our little short snippet show we did the other day, I threw the Rams in the hat there just because who the hell is our quarterback beside him? I mean, right. I think that they just signed him, obviously they claimed him off waivers, so they're not going to be signing him for a whole lot, and, it's just going to be for a handful of weeks if he does do good. If he does do good, he'll maybe get signed as a backup. Or hell, even might get a starting job somewhere else. I don't know where. But I think it's just also a fact too that look, it is LA. It's a big market. They're just trying to get someone in there to get in the doors, right? Because everyone on that team is hurt right now. So they see Baker. They see a guy who's got personality. Look, he might sell a few tickets, but like you said, the team ain't doing nothing. Everyone's hurt. It's a rough season for the champs. So they just said, hey, we'll take a flyer on you, see what you can do. And at least maybe try and get us a handful more wins for the season closing out, and also help him out, maybe potentially in the offseason. See if he can get signed either as a backup there or somewhere else. We'll see.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. John Miller goes back to the Odell Beckham conversation. He says, I don't want him this season or next season. I understand. Trust me. Hey, I understand your sentiments there. I don't think we really need Odell Beckham, to be honest with you, especially if James Washington comes back. I think the Cowboys are doing just fine with what they have. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what goes down with that. We're going to go ahead and get into the show real quick. When Frankie comes back, I'll come back to the LA question on him real quick.
Right,
Jackie Mitchell. Are you back, Frankie?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. Hey, real quick, man. Baker, man. Are you surprised that LA claimed off waivers of all teams?
Actually, Jay, I'm really not. I mean, Baker, I was about to say Odell Beckham Jr. because I just heard you talk about him. Baker Mayfield, honestly, he's still that quarterback. He's a former first-round pick. I mean, he obviously didn't fit well with the Panthers. We all thought differently that he would do something with the Panthers. But the Los Angeles Rams, they don't have anybody. They lost Matthew Stafford for the year. Probably going to come back for Week 18 or Week 17. Really doesn't matter at that point because these guys are sitting at 3 wins. So you might as well just look into the future. And they're stuck, honestly, and they're in a stuck place because they gave away their first-round pick to the Detroit Lions. So the more they lose, the better pick that the Lions are going to get, and that sucks for the LA Rams. So their best bet right now is to stick with what they can, get Baker Mayfield off waiver, win you a couple of games, so that way hopefully the Detroit Lions doesn't get a good draft pick in the first round. Maybe number 10 or a little bit lesser. Right now they're sitting, I think, number 4.
Yeah. They are.
I mean, there's really nothing the Rams can do. There's nobody else good enough in the QB market right now that is free agency to do something for them. Baker Mayfield is still a winning quarterback. In my eyes, I think Baker Mayfield is still a winning quarterback, and right now they got to do what they got to do. I don't know what Baker Mayfield is going to do because he's going to a team that literally has no receivers. Cooper Kupp's done for the year. Allen Robinson done for the year. I mean, I got what's his name? I got Tyler Higbee in my fantasy. In the past 2 weeks, the man has been not doing anything for me because the quarterback that's been playing for Matthew Stafford hasn't been throwing his way. So hopefully Baker Mayfield can throw to the tight end because that's basically Tyler Higbee. I think in my eyes, Tyler Higbee is a good tight end, and if you give the man the ball, he's going to give you some yardage and potentially help you win a game, especially if you don't have a Cooper Kupp or Allen Robinson or anything like that. You don't got Robert Woods no more. You don't got Odell Beckham Jr. So who else are you going to throw it to right now at this moment? Tyler Higbee. Cam Akers had a fantastic game against the Seahawks, but they still didn't win it because, again, like I said, they don't have weapons around the QB. So Baker Mayfield hopefully can be a game changer for the Rams late in the season. They're not going to turn it around. Obviously, like I said, they're not going to make the playoffs, but hopefully it's a better fit for the Rams.
Hey, cry me a river, man. When Brissett was the quarterback, Cooper was getting me 30, and freaking Peoples was getting me 10. Freaking Watson comes in, and it goes down by like 3/4 of their production. So, yeah, I understand all the while what it means having that quarterback position. Trust me. Real quick, going into this, Jackie Mitchell, we know we always do a female topic, or we try to do a female topic when we can. And I thought this was kind of interesting. So Jackie Mitchell was the first female that was drafted and put into baseball. She actually wound up going out with the Chattanooga Lookouts. And just to get a little bit of publicity, a little bit of money into the Lookout stands, they decided to have an exhibition game with the Yankees, who were coming up out of Florida, to stop by, give them a couple of games, drum up a little bit of money. And they throw old Mitchell out there in the first 2 innings, and she strikes out Babe Ruth with a nasty sinker. She strikes out Lou Gehrig with the ugly sinker. And everybody, man, Babe Ruth is throwing his bat, kicking up dust. Lou Gehrig has a dumbfounded look on his face from what people are saying. And how crazy is that? This happened back in 1931, April 2nd. And believe it or not, this woman right here, Jackie Mitchell, is actually one of the inspiring moments that actually got the All-American Female Baseball League started, which, if you know anything, is what League of Their Own, the movie was based on. So Jackie Mitchell actually had a really huge influence, not only in female baseball, obviously, which transpired into a movie, also was prior to them getting into the Hall of Fame. But, I mean, how awesome is that you just struck out freaking Lou Gehrig and Babe Ruth? I don't know if it gets any better than that. Logan?
Yeah, man. I mean, that's the cool thing we try and do. We try and find some other topics that, don't get a whole lot of limelight and coverage. And it's just it's neat stories like this and ones that we've done in the past that, just kind of shed some light on people, female, male, that people don't know about them at all. And I mean, I can probably guarantee you, Jay, that 90% of the people watching aren't aware of Jackie Mitchell and what she did. And I mean, like I said, that's what we're here to do. We're here to educate, and it's awesome, great, awesome story that I'm sure she told thousands of times. And like I said, we just try and bring awareness to topics that don't get a lot of love elsewhere.
Yo, Frankie, the girl was 17 years old when she struck out the Babe and Lou Gehrig. How crazy is that, brother? This is in your backyard, man. This is your team, your boys, the legends, the icons, the mythical people that they are. A 17-year-old female from out of nowhere comes up out of the blue and then takes out the Babe and Lou. I mean, I don't think you can write it any better than that.
Jay, I'm just gonna give full congratulations to Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. You wanna know why? Because they were nice enough to let this woman strike them out. They didn't want her to They wanted to give her some props and be like, listen, we think you're really good. Like, come on, really? Come on. Babe Ruth, like, we know Babe Ruth could have knocked her ball out of the park. He was just being nice enough. He's a gentleman. We all know Babe Ruth's a gentleman. But then again, I really don't give a damn, Jay, because I wasn't born in that time and I don't care. All right, I don't give a two craps, but I know what they did. They were nice enough to let this woman strike him out because they made her feel good. Congratulations to Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig. I'm proud to be a Yankee fan. This is why I love to be a Yankee fan for situations like this.
Hey, Logan, I got $10 that said Frankie was horrible when it came to history class.
I really
hey, listen, I'm going to tell you right now. Let me tell you how it went over there at Frankie's house when Frankie had to bring home that report card and show his pops what he got. And Pops said, Frankie, you got a D in history. And I guarantee you, Frankie looked at his Pops and probably said, Pops, nobody gives a fuck about history. Let's move on to math.
Straight up.
I would have thought to be. By the way, she was born August of 1913, passed away January of 1987. Had a hell of a good life, man. I'm just saying, if you're related to that family, man, that's still a pretty proud damn moment. I don't care who you are. All right, we're going to move on into the next subject matter, NCAA conference upsets. Wow. Now, amazingly enough, both teams that were upset, both quarterbacks are in the HEISMAN, and we'll talk about the HEISMAN in a minute. But I will tell you right now, man, if you watch that TCU Kansas game, there's no way you walk away from that thinking to yourself, Max Duggan didn't do everything possible to win that damn football game. Seriously, this dude, if you watched him, by the time he got to the end zone, he damn near couldn't even lift his head up. They had to help him up. Then he runs back in for a 2-point conversion, and then they help him over to the oxygen tent. Max Duggan, hey, I don't care what anybody says. That, my friend, is what makes a freaking Heisman. That's the kind of performance. Whether your team wins or loses, let's be honest, them getting that loss wasn't his fault. They lost at number 1 in overtime. Number 2, they ran the ball straight up the middle, which you said, well, what's wrong with running up the middle? Well, they did it to play before, and it didn't work. Why are you going to do it again? Your probably 2 best options, it may be even 3 best options, would have either been A, kick the field goal, live to fight another day, B, do an option to go around the end, or C, do a short pass to the tight end or whatever, or the running back or whatever. Anything but going back up the middle on 4th down and inches or 4th down and a foot. Crazy play calling. I really felt like that hurt TCU program, that play call. But, man, Max Duggan, man, dude, what a hell of a game. Logan, what do you think about the TCU and Kansas game, brother?
Yeah, that big upset, right? TCU, Kansas State. That I don't think not a lot of people thought Kansas State was going to pull that one out. I think a lot of us thought TCU was just going to not coast by easy, but at least get the win in that one and remain undefeated. And then they are still in the college football top 4, so congrats to them. And like you said, Duggan did all he could, man. I don't think you could place that on him in terms of how they lost that game, but he did his best, man. But unfortunately, it just wasn't enough, as is the case for a lot of the upsets, like we got on the screen here.
Right, Frankie. If you look at that game, man, I mean, the guy Max Duggan gave you 18 of 36, 251, a touch and a pick, but then he goes and gives you 15 carries on the ground for 110 and a touch. I mean, how crazy is that?
Yeah, I did watch that game, honestly. It was a fantastic game. I think what messed them up is TCU lately, the last couple of games, and not just the one against Kansas State, but the last couple of games, they've been playing from behind. And I think the thing that TCU needs to do is start off hot and come out in front. But, man, Duggan, man, he had one hell of a game. And if I'm not mistaken, I believe the reporter said that this man had about over 20 cuts on his body by the end of this game because of how much he was putting out for this team. That's leadership right there. That is someone who honestly is trying to bring a championship to a school that nobody has ever even thought about or even talk about. I mean, when was the last time we seen TCU in a situation like this? I don't think anybody can remember. And Duggan is doing something impressive. And I believe that this man being in the MVP conversation is well-deserved. I wouldn't be surprised if he wins it. He is going up against tough challengers. Oh, yeah. Especially Georgia's quarterback is in there. So I do expect this one to be a close nail-biter between Georgia and TCU's quarterback.
Yeah, and again, absolutely. And I think, if TCU is going to have a chance – because, they're in the top 4. I think they're number 3. If they're going to have a chance at getting a national title or even being in the national title game period, they're going to have to really, really work on that play call again. But mostly they've got to shore up that run defense because they did give up 130 rushing yards to Vaughn for K-State. So they really got to work on that rushing defense if they want to have a good shot at that. But we'll go over real quick to Utah. Utah obviously beat USC 47-24 to get the Pac-12 championship. And, if you watch that game, obviously that's when Caleb did I believe he jacked up his quad. Am I right on that, Frankie? I know he got injured, but it was his quad, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, again, I think when you look at that, USC's defense was a factor in the loss. They gave up 223 yards on the ground. Look, if you're giving up 223 yards on the ground, number one, you're losing clock management. Number two, how are you going to stop the pass? Oh, that's right, you couldn't. Why couldn't you? Oh, because they went 310 yards in the air and 6 damn touchdowns, 3 on the ground, 3 in the air. Yeah, USC, you suck. Lincoln Riley, though, I got to give you mad props. You went to a program and you got them into the top 4. That being said is amazing on your first year coming. But you got a lot of work to do on this defense. I mean, a lot of work.
Don't give him no props, Jay. Jay, do not give him no props. All right, yes, he got them into the top 4. But if you're gonna get your team in the top 4, you best believe you better kick some ass and keep your team in the top 4. You're not gonna fight all the way from back and then bring them up to the top 4. And at the very last minute and the very last game of the season, you guys play like dog water. I want to use other words, but I'm trying to be professional here. You're gonna look like dog water and go ahead and get yourself out of the top 4. Now you just ruined your chances at possibly going to the SEC championship and probably facing Georgia, because we all know Georgia's going to make it there, no doubt about it. But you lost your chance, so don't give that quarterback no goddamn props.
Well, and the thing about and again, I feel what you're saying and what you're putting down, Logan. Hey, if you look at Caleb Williams, quite honestly, just like Dugan, man. I mean, Caleb was. You take Caleb. I mean, he really was the only bright shining spot for this USC in that game. I mean, he gave you what 363 in the air, 3 touchdowns, and only 1 pick, and then 16 carries for 21. Of course, he got hurt, so he couldn't finish. But damn, man, he did everything he could, to put you in the right spot. It's just a defense, for crying out loud. When you're giving up 533 yards and 6 touchdowns, when your defense is just not doing what they're supposed to. I mean, what are you supposed to do, right?
Yeah, and that's kind of been the story of USC the entire year, is they've got a tremendous offense in terms of talent, in terms of productivity, but, man, that defense is not it. I mean, and we saw it twice now against Utah. I mean, there's been a few other games earlier in the year where they could have lost if it wasn't for scoring a whole lot of points. And it came up to bite them, Jay, in the worst time possible. And a chance to solidify being a top 4 team. Now you're out of it. You just missed a cut. But, I mean, another big win by Utah. And, again, not a lot of people thought they'd win twice. And they pulled it out. But, like I said, Williams, he had a good season. All in all, he did his best, but just wasn't enough, man. Like you said, that defense really screwed him over when it mattered most, and it is what it is.
No, I definitely agree with you, and that's why SC's not in there, and that's why they let that soft Charmin-ass defense of Ohio back in. But that is what it is.
It's funny, and I'm gonna just say this out real quick. Go ahead. I feel sorry for Jonathan Mathis. He's dealing with a lot right now. He's a USC fan, so he's dealing with a lot. You lost the Dodgers in after the bye, right? You got eliminated by the Padres. Sad for him. Now you got his best. I mean, I can't say nothing about his basketball team because we're both Lakers fans.
He's not even good.
I can't say nothing about. Maybe you guys could say something about his basketball team. Just wait until I'm off the air or something like that. 'Cause I'm a Lakers guy too. So, but then again, you got this USC who was in the top 4. He was really excited, hoping that they can go to the championship game. And then at the last game, you get a blown out loss to Utah. What a time to be alive for Jonathan Mathis, man.
Man. Sometimes you just gotta do a health and wealth check, Farrah.
And he's a Rams fan.
Make sure they're okay. You know what I mean?
And he's a Rams fan who's a defending champion dealing with a 3-win season.
Oh God, the Rams! Jeez, Louise, man, what a time to be alive! What a time!
We're sorry, Jonathan.
No wonder he had to show his face on Unscripted.
Hey, we're gonna throw this thing over and overdrive real quick. I just want to do a few little NFL takeaways. Clearly, this was the week of injuries. And the week of squanders, if I can call it that. We know Jimmy G broke his foot, but he did avoid the Liz Frank. He should be back. I think we all kind of know what that means for the Niners. Well, actually, what do we know? I mean, where do you guys see the Niners at right now? You got a possible Jimmy G, or you got Purdy. I mean, what does the outlook look like right now for the Niners?
Purdy, baby, Mr. Irrelevant.
Mr. Irrelevant, baby. Hey, screw it. Let's see what he can do, Jay. I mean, it wasn't like he was a scrub. He was actually pretty solid in college. But, that's just how the dice falls. And, I mean, now we get to see the final pick in the draft of last year. and now he gets to lead the charge going into the playoffs and possibly in the playoffs, depending on Jimmy's how severe that foot's going to hurt him for. But yeah, man, hey, give him a shot. Why not?
All I'm gonna say is Tom Brady did it. Tom Brady did it.
Tom Brady did it first.
Hey,
he did it.
Hey,
So,
since you brought up Brady, we'll just get into the Saints and the Saints in Tampa Bay game. You know, there's a lot of people out there, and I'm actually inclined to agree with them that, yes, Tom Brady got the win, but there's a lot of people out there saying that he really don't give him all this. He is the GOAT, but don't inflate what he did to the point where, oh, my God, Brady's this and Brady's that. I think the Saints kind of gave him that game. That seems to be the consensus that the Saints kind of rolled over and gave him that game. Do you guys agree with that? You're going to say no, but unbiasedly, do you think that kind of more or less it was the Saints that just kind of gave it to him a little bit there?
I'm not going to say that they gave it to him. What I will say is they felt comfortable having a 16-3 lead late in the fourth quarter to where they did the same thing that the Atlanta Rams did in Super Bowl 51. Their defense just they just felt like that Tom Brady wouldn't have enough time to do a comeback. And that's something you should never do on a football team, especially on the defense going up against Tom Brady. Never, never, never lose.
Well, that's the whole point, right? I mean,
in football,
after they took the pressure off of Brady and and relax a little bit, I think they're feeling like the defense was more the fault of that loss than it was Brady getting the win.
Definitely, and what also gave them the loss was having the ball in the fourth quarter with about 3 minutes left. And Andy Dalton and the Saints literally are on the field for only 13 seconds out of that time. 3 minutes left in the game, and you're only on the field. Your offense is on the field 13 seconds. That's something that's got to improve. That's got to change, especially if you want to finish out a win, a close win like that, especially against Tom Brady. And this is a division rival game. You probably just lost your chances at maybe winning this division and going into the playoffs. Because, be realistic, if the Tampa Bay Bucks would have lost, both of these teams would have had the same record, with the Bucks having, I think, one more loss on their record. It's just insane. It's insanity. I don't know. Whoever said that Tom Brady was given this by the Saints, it pisses me off because it's not. They didn't give them the game. I don't think any team gives people the game. They just didn't play tough defense like they did all game. They just let their defense sit back and didn't do what they were supposed to do the entire game. They just, like I said, they probably had the mentality of saying, okay, we got this in the bag. We're up 16-3. Not that much time left in the fourth quarter. We're good. Let's just chill.
I mean, if you want to take away the word give them and it just insert the fact of it was the fault of the Saints defense letting up on him.
Definitely.
Hey, I'll roll with that too because it really all means the same thing. Logan, let me ask you this, man.
Yeah.
Packers managed to outlast the Chicago Bears. But I got to be honest with you, man. In my opinion, man, hey, look, they're out of playoff contention. You really don't know how much longer you got left in Rodgers. At some point, do you say, you know what, I'm going to put this dude down and I'm going to put in Love and I'm just going to see how well I can ride out Love? Or do you – or maybe even ride out Love to see if you can trade Love for picks if you don't think Love is your guy? I mean, do you – because let's be honest, they're losing. They're not going to get into it. They're not even in the hunt for crying out loud. So at some point, do you shut down Aaron, turn the ball over to Love, and see what you got and start looking towards the future?
With as much money as they're paying him right now, I don't think he'd want to be on the bench for the time being. But like you said, this team ain't doing nothing. I mean, right now the Lions are ahead of them in the standings.
Right.
And I mean, I think the smart move, since Rodgers has been banged up, I think the smart move would be to put Love in there, just say, screw it, our season's cooked, might as well throw him out there, see if he can do something. And you know, I mean, why risk throwing our $1 million quarterback out there each and every single week to maybe get hurt for an extended period of time and screwing us over next year maybe also? Will that happen? Probably not. But I mean, I think that, you know, that wouldn't be a bad idea at this point because, I mean, this team ain't doing nothing.
Let me ask you guys a question. Frank, I want to ask you kind of this. You know, when you look at Lamar, now you know Lamar's out with an injury as well. He's got that quad issue. He went out. Huntley comes in. Huntley does, you know, they managed to, you know, get the game over the lowly Denver Broncos. but he gets the win over the Broncos. Plays fairly decent, doesn't do too bad. Number one, they say that, Lamar is going to be out weeks, so he'll be back by the playoff time. But let me ask you this. If you're Lamar, are you just flirting with fire right now? We don't have that guaranteed contract in the bag. Are you worried about, going out there and possibly getting a season-ending or career-ending injuries?
I wouldn't. If I'm Lamar Jackson, I'll just sit out. You're still in the playoff. You're still in playoffs. I mean, yes, you got the same record with the Cincinnati Bengals, and they could probably potentially win the division, with Lamar Jackson being out. But still, you'll end up being in the wild card when Lamar Jackson comes back. If I'm Lamar Jackson and you 100% sure that you're not going to be with the Baltimore Ravens next year because he doesn't have an agent, the man represents himself. And I feel like the Ravens are not going to extend this man and give him a crazy money worth contract. So if I'm Lamar Jackson, sit out, get healthy, come back in the playoffs, win if you can in the playoffs. If you can't, oh well, and then we'll focus on your career and focus on your future. Don't hurt your body now, especially this late in the season. Because if you hurt yourself now, there's a possibility that you're not coming back until mid next season.
Right. Let me ask you guys a question, man. We're going to go to alternating questions to get through this real quick so we can get to the other topic. But let me ask you this. Mike White looked pretty damn good. Looked like the best of sliced bread last week, and to the point where we're like, hey, Mike White, man, hey, this might be the guy. Then, like I said, the Vikings was going to be the test. He goes to the Vikings and squanders what could have been a really good opportunity to solidify his spot there by giving you 6 red zone drives and only 1 damn touchdown.
It's not his fault,
man.
Jay.
Is it a
It's
failure
not
in
his
you
fault,
guys'
Jay.
eyes?
I watched that game, and it's not Mike White's fault. I'm gonna blame this on Barossa, or however you say this guy's name, but I don't know how you say it. Burrito. How about that?
Right.
He had a good pass thrown at him by Mike White at the 1-yard line, and the man dropped it on him. He dropped a wide open pass, literally had it in his hands, fell down to the turf, and it came out and bounced right out of his hands. This is not on Mike White. I feel like Mike White could have beaten the Vikings if that man would have caught the ball. But since he didn't, I'm blaming this on the wide receiver.
Okay, that's fine. Logan, real fast, real question, follow-up question what Frankie just said. And Frankie, I agree with what you're saying. But the follow-up question I have is Mike White started the game with an interception. He ended the game with an interception. Did he fail the test, or is he still under consideration?
Well, I just saw that Coach Saleh said that he is going to be the quarterback this week. So he said in a quote, "It's his time to make the noise," and Zach Wilson will be inactive. So, and also too, Jay, the main thing, it looks like the locker room is a lot more behind Mike White than they were Zach Wilson. I mean, you see them coming out publicly now and supporting. And supporting Mike White. They're wearing his shirt against the Vikings. So yeah, it looks like they're gonna keep him on the field unless he just absolutely sucks. But we'll see how he can do though. I think this is kind of a make or break week this upcoming week for sure because I mean they are still in the playoff hunt.
Right.
Shut up, Logan.
Frankie, Giants and Commanders tied this week. Not a big hey, watch this. Not a big deal for the Giants because they're currently, nice and snuggled up into the wild card spot. This is, however, a huge game for the Commanders because they're literally in the 8th spot, just trying to get past Seattle at this point, and it's literally like a half game separation. They really, really, really needed this win, and they didn't get it. So if you're DC, do you think they make it into the playoffs, or does Seattle hold on and get in?
I feel like they have a really good chance of still making it into the playoffs. For one, they're in a bye week right now. They're going into a bye week, and when they come back from the bye week, who are they playing? The New York Giants again. So they have a chance again to get another win over them. What they need is to start praying and hope that the Giants lose this upcoming week. I think they're playing the Cowboys, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right.
So most likely the Giants are going to lose, and that's what the Washington Commanders need. Another positive news: when they come back from the bye week, guess who's coming back with them? The defensive man in Chase Young.
Oh,
he's making his season debut against the Giants this year after the bye week, and I think that's going to be a great turnaround for the Commanders. The Giants, come on, you tied with the Commanders. This is a team that was second in the division, in your division, Jay. This was
Yeah.
they were second. They were 7-2, and now they're 7-4, I believe, or 7-5, one or the other.
Right.
I'm sorry, 7-4-1 now. I'm sorry.
Right. We get the tie.
7-4-1, and that tie. I hate the ties because it ruins everything in the standings of the playoffs. But now
It always does. I hate it too.
it's still close with the Giants. So like I said, all they need is the Giants to lose against the Cowboys, and then the Washington comes back after the bye week to face the Giants and get that win. That right there will get them a chance into the playoffs.
Yeah, real quick, Logan, man, your boy, the Raiders are looking pretty impressive. They're on a 3-game win streak. Nobody would ever saw that coming. And I think that win streak, I think you'll agree, is due to that three-headed monster now of Jacobs giving you, 119 yards average in the last 3 games. Adams is giving you 141 and 2 touches, 2 of the last 3. And then you got your boy Crosby over there with 3.5 sacks as well. So I think, you guys are looking pretty good. Are you? As a matter of fact, I think you're 5-7. You're a half game back of the Chargers, so you still could maybe sneak into the playoffs. How you like your team, and what do you think about Josh McDaniels?
Jay, I'm feeling great. Ever since I said they're taking that Cinderella run to the Super Bowl, they ain't lost. So I think I'm the catalyst behind this personally, but that's just me. But no, they've been playing really well. They're getting into a groove now finally. Big win over the Chargers this past week. They really needed that one. And I mean they got the Rams coming up, so hopefully that's an easy dub there. So yeah, good win. Like I say, better times now finally as opposed to the first handful of weeks. But yeah, I'm feeling good though.
Yeah, John Monroe, I do think Geno Smith is doing a good job over there at Seattle. And then me personally, I think the Seattle will hang on to that last wild card spot. I don't see them relinquishing it. But we will see. Cowboys. Gee, what a game. Now, again, I'm not going to blow this out of proportion. It was against the damn Colts. And I do feel bad, not sorry, but to Jonathan, who is not feeling well right now. And I'm sure maybe part of it was a byproduct of that loss. I certainly wouldn't feel good if my team lost as bad as they did, but they lost. So, yeah, man, I think what did we learn from this? I think we learned that Ryan is trash. Saturday still needs more experience to be a head coach. I think Pollard is a freaking beast. And Dallas's defense is probably, if not one of the best that I've seen so far. We have a really good next up. We saw Brown go down with hopefully will not be an Achilles injury. And Bland, the rookie corner that we signed in the draft, came up and had 2 great interceptions. Hooker put pressure, which was a former Colt that we signed this year, put pressure on him. Wilson had some sacks. Parson looked amazing. I mean, damn, what a time to be alive. And the Cowboys are ranked number 3 in the power rankings. I don't know if I think they're ranked number 3. I had them ranked between 4 and 5, but I'm not going to turn down rank number 3. If they want to rank as number 3, hey, go right ahead. Knock yourself out. Anybody want to comment on the Cowboys? Was it a fluke? Was it bullshit? Are the Cowboys just once and done the playoffs? What are we looking at?
I mean, this is typical of the Cowboys. I'm used to seeing the Cowboys winning in the regular season. I just want to see them win in the playoffs. I mean, I'm not gonna say it was a fluke because no game is a fluke, Jay. But I am gonna say, and it was the Colts, man. And I feel like I've been saying this since day one. And if anybody disagrees with me, please say so. But I've been saying since Matt Ryan went to the Colts that this was gonna be a mistake, and a mess up. I knew that he wasn't going to fit well with the Colts. It's just, I don't know. It's just funny. I mean, your defense did step up really well, intercepting so many times, returning it for a pick 6. I think you guys had like 3 or 2 pick 6.
We had. I think it was like 1 or 2.
Many fumble recoveries. So, I mean, it's the Colts, but I want to see the Cowboys do this against a good team in the playoffs.
And speaking about the fumbles, I did see a stat. The Colts have fumbled 30 times this season, which is insane.
They need to invest in some stickum.
I know a new head coach you could get, and he is a member of our team. I'm just saying, Indianapolis, if you're looking, we got your boy Gonzo out there.
Hey, Logan, did the Raiders play the Colts this year?
Hey, man, that was earlier, and
I'm asking. Did they? You guys did play them?
yeah, I forget. I think early in the year. I forget which week though.
Did you win
Yeah,
or
we know what
lose?
Frankie's trying to get at. It's
No,
all
no,
good,
no, no,
Frankie.
no, no,
Let
no,
that
no.
man be a beast.
Did you win or lose, Logan?
Oh, I
I
never.
mean, in that particular case, we've lost, but we've also won three
Okay.
straight. Also, I think you might have cursed the Lakers, Frankie. You
No,
might have
because
cursed your boys. Did you hear what
no, because
happened?
yeah, I did hear what happened. I actually watched him walk away to the locker room, so I'm just
Yeah,
praying they ain't come back.
Jay, hit your scheduled tweet. Anthony Davis is in the locker room. Unfortunately, we'll see if anything comes out of it.
Wait, what happened to Anthony Davis?
So
He's
some
going
injury
back to
happened,
the
but
locker room.
he walked to the
Oh,
locker room.
damn.
He walked by
Oh,
himself. He's
damn.
gonna come back out.
Hey,
Relax.
hey.
He's gonna
Ooh,
come back.
what a
He's gonna
time to
come
be
back
alive.
out. Relax.
Frankie,
You guys
Frankie,
back?
trying not to freak out. Hey, listen, but for real, hey, I'm not gonna get on the Cowboys like playoff bandwagon until I see them play the Eagles. I gotta see what they can do against the Eagles with Dak, and then how do we play against this Eagles team? That's gonna give me a better barometer of what I think of this team. So we're gonna wait until that Eagles game comes up, and then we'll take it from there. Hey, flip it over to the Heisman again. Hey, this is your four. You got Stetson, you got Max, you got Caleb, and you got who's the other dude? Stetson, Max, Caleb, and CJ. I'll leave CJ in there. I got to be honest with you, man. I think Stetson is only in this damn thing because Hooker got hurt. I think Hooker doesn't get hurt and finishes out the season. We're not talking Stetson. I'm sorry. I like Stetson. He is on the Georgia quote-unquote team, but he ain't no damn Heisman. I don't care what anybody says. Anybody on this damn panel thinks Stetson Bennett's a Heisman? Honestly. Come on. Hell, I remember last year when I said, hey, you think Stetson Bennett will get into the draft? And everybody started laughing at me, thinking like, get the fuck. And I said, yeah, you're right. I don't
even know his name. I don't even know who you talk about, Jay. That's how much of a hype that you should
Exactly. And I got to be honest with you, man. Like I said to you, man, I think Caleb did a hell of a good job against Utah. So I think he does have a bona fide, and he is the favorite, right? Caleb Williams, if you look at a lot of polls and things like that, they got Caleb Williams being the favorite. But I got to be honest with you. Even though he got hurt, he didn't get hurt until towards the end of the game. They were still getting their asses handed to them. I don't know, man. When I saw Max Duggan and what he did and how he put that game on his back, that was just so freaking Heisman. I don't care if you even like TCU. You didn't have to like TCU. But when you saw Max play, how could you not like Max? How could you not fall in love with the guy and his heart and his ability in that game? I'm sorry, CJ Stroud, get the fuck. I don't care about you. I don't care, man. It's all about Caleb and Max. Those are the two dudes. Even though USC didn't get in there, Caleb did have a statistically good game. So you can't hold that USC blowout against him because statistically he had a good game. That was just all straight USC defense on that one. But that Max Duggan effort was just something that they write movies about. Seriously, they write movies about that shit. Logan?
Well, at the beginning of the year, Jay, I picked C.J. Stroud to win the Heisman, so I can't go off my horse, man. I can't do it. I picked him to win, and like you said, he had a. It wasn't like he sucked again in that loss, but he's had a really good stat season overall. Like I said, Dugan's he's came on really strong as of late. Williams has been good, and Stetson. It's not like he sucks. Let's not get it twisted. He's had a good season, but Jay, the real thing is he never plays in the fourth quarter because his team's up by 25 at that point. So it's not like he's out here having game-winning drives left and right or nothing crazy. It's just the team's up by so many and the defense is so good, they don't need him to do a whole lot. But he's got that Jimmy G.
Let me ask you a question, Logan. I want you to ask yourself this question. If you took Stetson Bennett and you said you put him in the transfer portal over to that TCU game that Max Duggan did, how do you think that would have fared?
I mean, I don't know. We're doing hypotheticals here.
Oh, no. You do know. How would that? I'll watch this. Frankie, you take Stetson Bennett and you put him in that TCU game, and he had to come up with a Max Duggan like effort. You think Stetson's that kind of guy?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, he's only had one or two losses in his whole career. I mean, hey, win's a win, buddy.
So you think Stetson Bennett You think Stetson Bennett could have taken that TCU team into overtime and damn near had him at the goal line and win it? You think?
No, I think I think Stephen Bennett would have never went into overtime. I think he would have won that game straight up in four quarters.
I don't even believe. I know. Even you don't believe that.
No, I do believe it.
No, I think over there you're laughing your ass off. You can't say that.
Y'all won a national championship, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Let me ask you this: you put Dugan over there with Georgia, and I guarantee you, man, he'd have been blowing everybody out. You wouldn't even had no close games. I don't know. I just like to. I don't think Stetson has that grittiness or that. He just looks like a pretty boy. He looks like a pretty boy.
You just ain't watch Georgia games, then, Jay. You ain't watch Georgia games.
Hold on, Jay. What did you just say? Hold on. Let's rewind it. I want to rewind it for a minute, Jay. You just said you put Dugan in that Georgia team, and he would be blowing people out, like he wouldn't be going into overtime to close games.
Well, think about it. I mean, look at the defense he would have had. Look at the running. I mean, he had good running backs. Don't get me wrong. Miller and them are good running backs, but I think the play calling. I mean, Georgia coach is better, no doubt about it. Nobody knows. Kirby Smart is better than the TCU coach. We all know that. I think Kirby Smart would have been in that TCU game coaching them. I don't think we're talking TCU defeat. I think we're talking TCU win. I really do. Because I think he would have – I don't think he runs that ball back up the middle. I think he options it, passes it, or field goals. But okay. So Frankie, you're going with what? You went with Caleb? That was your Heisman guy?
No, I didn't pick anybody yet.
So who do you pick? I know Logan, you went with CJ, right?
Yeah, I got CJ Stroud for me. I had him at the beginning of the year. I can't waver.
Okay, and then I got Max, and then Frankie. Who are you taking?
I honestly want to pick Stepson, but I'm gonna go with Max just because Max has been put in more of a leadership type role with TCU. I mean, like we all said, Stefan's been blowing teams out, and he hasn't been playing fourth quarters or whatever. But that's because he blows people out in the first three. So I don't think Bennett's gonna care if he doesn't win the Heisman Trophy because he knows for a fact that he's probably gonna win the SEC championship. So I mean, Max is gonna get I think Max is gonna get it.
Yeah, and again, like I was telling you earlier, according to the latest polls, they got Caleb Williams as the quote unquote Heisman favorite. But you all know that those polls don't mean anything. Sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. So. We'll have to wait and see. But there you go. That's our picks. We'll see how everything unfolds. I believe it's this Saturday, correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's this Saturday. Real quick. So we know that DeGrom and Verlander both just signed their contracts with the Rangers and with the Mets. Now we got to look at Carlos Rodon, who's still out there with the Giants. Number one. Hey, look, I think DeGrom signed for $37 million a year. Verlander signed for $43 million a year. How much do you think Rodon signs for, and what team do you think he signs with? Logan?
Ooh, let's see. Well,
you said what?
Oh, Logan glitched out.
Did Logan glitch out?
Sounded like it.
What about now? We good?
Yep.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, all right, cool. Well, it said he's seeking like a 6-year, $180 million deal. So, I mean, that brother's going to get paid one way or another.
I know the perfect.
You know what, Jay? A team, I'll throw a team there who could get an ace who might be a surprise.
Say it.
Hey, why not the Orioles, huh?
No,
why not the Orioles?
No.
I'm just saying, Frankie. They have been listed as a potential suitor for him. I've seen here.
Freaking sweep you guys all season. How about that?
It's all right though, because I mean, if Judge ends up going to the Bay Area, you can see him in long hair and a goatee.
Oh my goodness! So Logan is saying he gets the lucrative contract out with the Orioles.
Hey, screw it. Why not? But that's my last topic, boys. I'm headed out for the night. Enjoy the rest of the show, and I will talk to y'all later.
All right, man. Be good, and the Braves suck. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I had to give him a little. But no, man. Hey, look. So, Frankie, who you looking at, man?
Realistically, I think I feel like, and I'm praying to the gods, to the baseball gods, that he signs with the Yankees. The Yankees are really, really looking into him. They're really strong suitors for him. I think what's taking time is they're waiting for Aaron Judge, because they did throw out a 9-year or 8-year, possibly 9-year, $300 million contract at Aaron Judge. So I think they're waiting to see, and if Judge does not re-sign with the Yankees for that much money, and that potentially saves us so much money, to where we can sign him on something that he wants. He wants $180 million. If Judge doesn't sign, that's fine. We'll give it to this guy, because this guy's got a good arm, and I think that he'll fit well in our system, and I think that's why he still hasn't signed anywhere. I mean, I know for a fact teams are looking at him and teams are talking to him, but he hasn't signed for a reason. He still is on the free agent market, and I think just because he wants to be a Yankee, the Yankees are honestly just probably waiting for Aaron Judge.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, I know you guys signed Severino and you brought that reliever in, Conley. You guys have been, but mostly you guys have been relatively kind of quiet, on the free agent list. And I know a lot of it has to do with the Aaron Judge. I mean, do you think you have enough money to bring in a Judge at over $300 million? And by the way, they said depending on what San Fran does, that the Yankees could even stretch that money out a little bit. So do you think they have enough to bring back Judge at that level and bring in Rodon or what he's going to want? I mean, do you guys got enough? I mean, I know you got a lot of money, but do you think that they're going to put that much money into that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, I've been hearing a lot of rumors that if Judge was to sign, a lot of things could happen. A potential trade that might happen between Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks, that might happen, and also, if I'm the Yankees and we re-sign Aaron Judge, I'm gonna look at it as, okay. Well, for one, Andrew Benintendi is a free agent. They're looking to try and re-sign him as well, but other suitors are looking at Andrew Benintendi for the Houston Astros is obviously one of them.
Oh
and
yeah,
we've been talking about him for a while.
We're definitely looking at Benintendi. I've already seen rumors that the Astros are looking at Benintendi.
That saves up right there if you don't re-sign Andrew Benintendi, and then you part ways with both Josh Donaldson and Aaron Hicks. That saves up both their contracts, and Aaron Hicks is getting big money from the Yankees in his final, I think, 2 or 3 years. So part ways with both of them and save up money. That potentially, will have enough to bring in Rodon.
Yeah, what's interesting to me. I've been watching, all of these signings and things of that nature, and I'm still waiting on the Astros to pull in Contreras, and I'm really hoping they pull in Benintendi. And if they pull in those two guys, I'm good. I'm done. Hey, if you want to bring back, Brantley and Gurriel, which I think Gurriel comes back as a utility guy, but Brantley is still out there. But if you want to bring back Brantley as a contact guy, I mean, hey, I'm good. But when I look at the whole league as a whole, I have not seen one team truly advance themselves enough that changes the outcome from last year. And what I mean by last year, I'm just saying the overall playoff landscape. I still think the same teams are in the playoffs as last year, roughly. And I don't think any one team truly got better. I see a lot of even swaps. I look at the Mets, they let go of DeGrom, they bring in Verlander. To me, that's an even wash. I see DeGrom going down to the Texas Rangers. That's basically a killer for him. They're not. Are you getting that impression that there's just not? I look at the Phillies. Yeah, they brought in Trey Turner, but they got Harper, who doesn't come back to the middle of the All-Star break. Then they also didn't really do anything with their relievers, and the relievers are what cost them the World Series. So I don't even look at this. I don't even look at the Phillies as being a serious contender now. And I look at the San Diego Padres. They lost Josh Bell. They didn't really do anything on their pitching staff. So I don't know, man. I'm looking at this year and I'm thinking like, yep, Astros going to be right back in it. Because I didn't see anybody truly upgrade enough to make a whole lot of difference. I mean, that's just my opinion. What's your thought process on that?
No, yeah, I agree with you. I don't feel like anybody has made a major splash. I mean, like you said, we've seen the Phillies sign a Trey Turner to an 11-year, a $300 million deal with the no trade part, like he can't get traded at all for those 11 years. So
Right.
I mean,
That's gonna kill them.
it's gonna kill him. That's not gonna kill the Phillies.
Well,
gonna
that's
kill
true.
him.
It'll kill both of them, right? And it's going to put them in a situation where they can't trade him, and they give him all this money. But again, for him, it limits a lot of different things. I know, I agree. I think on both sides. I think it's on both sides.
I think the one team that possibly can do something is probably the Mets. I mean, yes, you got rid of Jacob deGrom. That's possibility of a sigh like, oh man, we lost Jacob deGrom. But if I'm a Mets fan, which thankfully, thank God I'm not. I consider the Mets my redheaded stepchildren. All Met fans, they're my redheaded stepchild. So I love all my stepchildren the same. Pretty much, I love them all the same, Jay. To where I pretty much don't say nothing to them. I don't acknowledge them. That's how much I love my redheaded stepchildren. But I feel like they upped it a little bit with getting Justin Verlander. That's your man. Justin Verlander
Right.
a lot. So that what the Mets are getting from. They got 2 years out of him. You got a man who's hitting 40 and who just came out of Tommy John, who's basically got like a medical arm now.
Yeah, they got him, I think, 2 years and an option. Yeah.
Yeah, so like you got somebody with a robotic arm, basically, technically. So compared to Jacob deGrom, who's injury prone. So I feel like the Mets stepped it up a little bit on the pitching staff. And they're still a power hitting team. You got Pete Alonso, you got Francisco Lindor. So I mean, you got all of them. Then you re-signed and kept your closer, Edwin Diaz. So the Mets can do something. It's just, can the Mets do it at the end of the season? I feel like that's typically what the Mets do. They win the entire year, but towards the end of the season, that's where they choke. So hopefully adding Justin Verlander helps them a little bit. Because you don't have to worry about when Jacob deGrom is going to come back. Is he going to get injured this year or something like that? Compared to Justin Verlander, he's going to be fine. So I think the Mets are a little bit better, but they're just – I feel like they're still missing a little bit more.
I think, what I think the Mets need, and then I might start taking them a lot more seriously, is if they sign Carlos Rodon, I would be like, oh, yeah, those dudes are like, I think at that 1-2-3 punch now. Now I'm looking at the Mets a certain kind of way. And there have been links where they said they might try to get a Carlos Rodon. I mean, but that's what I would take them seriously, man. Honestly, at this point, that's the way I'm taking them serious.
I don't think they're going to do that because, like we said, they signed Justin Verlander 2 years, 3-year option, to where it's about like $80 million plus. And then you sign Edwin Diaz to a crazy deal to where
because Diaz got his bag of money too.
Yeah, he's got an insane bag of money. So I mean, I don't think the Mets have enough money to even try and get Rodon right now. If I was them, I will look at somebody to take over because they're losing Nemo. They're gonna lose Nemo right now. Other teams are looking at Nemo, their center fielder. So I mean, you got to look at other possibilities. I think their pitching staff's okay. They like I said, they could use probably one more, but Rodon is not going to do it. You're probably going to have to look at somebody else.
Man, what a time to be alive. All right, last topic, and we out at 5, man. Hey, Prime Time and his son leave for Colorado. There's a lot of things out there being said that Prime Time, should have stayed at HBCUs and stuff because they felt like, he needed to do something for those programs and getting them back and more recognition and so forth. And Prime Time, like, look, I know what I am. I forgot the color of my skin. I know I'm a black man, but just because I'm a black man don't mean I can't go to a better opportunity if it arises for my career. And Colorado, I don't know why he thinks that's a better opportunity for his career other than the fact that they are, in a better conference or a more recognized conference. But still, hey, do what you will. And I will tell you, for a program that's been pretty shaky, for a long time, he's bringing a lot with him. He brought in his son, and he's bringing in a couple other guys as well to the portal. And then he's also bringing in a couple of prominent head coaches. I know one of them's out of Florida State, and the other one, I forget where he was. But he's bringing in some really good coaching pieces, and he's bringing in his son, who already said, yo, let's go. And I got to be honest with you, though. If you look at what's his name? What is that guy's name? The one that was actually the starter there. I got to feel a certain kind of way for him. And the fact that and I thought I had his name written down. That's how nobody really cares about this guy because I had his name written down, and I don't know what I do with it now. But if you're the starting quarterback for Colorado, are you thinking to yourself like, damn? Like, like now what? And the guy just transferred. He transferred from Tennessee. I do remember that. He just transferred in from Tennessee to play with them. He had 1 year under his thing. And then, JT Shrout. That's what it was. JT Shrout, the last year quarterback for them, transferred in from Tennessee in 2021, gave you 1,200 yards and 7 touchdowns, only for Dion to come in and get, yo, Shrout, you out. My boy's in. Time to move on to better things. So now this dude's got to probably go back into the damn transfer portal. But you all know you only get one time in the portal, and then the second time I think you have to sit out games. So really kind of screwing over somebody else to bring this guy in. I don't know. Frankie, what do you think about all this?
Yeah, I think it's kind of messed up that Prime Time is doing that. I mean, I get it. Him and his son, he had his, they did something unbelievable at Jackson State. And I do agree with, him having a better opportunity at Colorado, a better schooling program. But he did something unbelievable in Jackson State. He turned them around. He made them from a losing team to being an undefeated team. So good thing for Colorado, but I'm just with you, Jay. I feel bad for that quarterback in Colorado. Now he has to. If I'm him, I will honestly look at the transfer portal, and I will go somewhere else. I mean, you got a lot of quarterbacks that's going to enter the draft next year or this year coming up. Matter of fact, in 2023. So you might as well go ahead and try and look at a team suitable for yourself, and hopefully somebody will try and get you. If not, guess what, brother? You're gonna have to sit on the bench and ride that out.
Yeah, instantly enough. That's just how the world works. And believe me, it works in the NFL just the same. So it's just one of those things you got to get used to.
Pray and hope that Deion Sanders' son gets injured sometime during the season so you can try and get your job back.
Hey.
I don't wish any injury upon any player, but if I'm that kid, I'm definitely wishing injury on Deion Sanders' son so I can get my position back.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me ask you this. Okay, final thoughts. Frankie, man, what final thoughts you have before we get up on out here?
My final thought is hopefully AD comes back at halftime. He's still in the locker room. I don't even know what the injury was. I did see him walk away into the locker room, but I'm paying attention onto the podcast. I didn't even hear what the injury is, so I'm gonna have to look at that after the show. Also, Aaron Judge. For those of you who like we said earlier, tweet came out earlier that Aaron Judge signed with the Giants, but the Giants have not got in contact with Aaron Judge, so he is still a free agent. The Yankees are still out to grab him, and hopefully we can get him back. Because I really would like Aaron Judge to be back, but then again, if he doesn't be back, I'm not gonna be mad. The guy's been on our team for a while, and he did special things for our team. Obviously, he didn't win a World Series yet, and if he goes to the San Francisco Giants, you're not gonna win the World Series again, or ever win a World Series at that point. But I wouldn't be mad if he leaves because that saves about $300+ million to try and flex around the team.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. By the way, it looks like the Warriors are calling up HEISMAN after a 7-game stint down there in the G League. So HEISMAN is coming back to the Warriors. Let's see where he goes from here. It's interesting. I was looking at the draft. There's a lot of teams out there that have a couple of extra picks in the first round. Houston is in a really good spot. The Texans get the number 1 pick and the number 13 pick, which they can certainly get that quarterback of the future, as well as probably drafting another either offensive lineman if you think you need it, or possibly wide receiver 1 if you think that's where you want to go. So, they definitely got some looks there. So Houston has a couple. Detroit's sitting at, right, like you said, right now at number 4 and number 15. So the Lions are going to get a couple of picks in the draft. And then it looks like the Seahawks are at number 3 and number 20. So a couple of teams. And then the Eagles. The Eagles have the number 1, 2, 3, the number 5 and the last pick of the draft. So the Eagles should get some more improvement on an already pretty damn good team. So, damn. Freaking Eagles, man. What are you going to do?
Well, that's what happened, Jay. You know what? I don't get mad at situations like that because I always say that's what happens when you're asked for that long.
Well,
Literally, when you're a
true.
franchise that sucks for so long, this is what happens. You get situations like this. You get 2 picks in the first round by trading certain players that that were big names in the past, but then it ends up working in your favor. Look at like the Eagles. I mean, that's crazy.
Right. I got one question, and then we're gonna call it a night, man. Again, right now the Colts are drafted at number 9 in the draft. You got to know Houston's going to take a quarterback. That's 1. Followed by Carolina at number 6. That's 2. And so if you're the Colts, you'd be in line to get the 3rd best quarterback in the draft, which is a huge position need that they need. You got Bryce Young available. You'll have Caleb Williams available. Stetson Bennett should be available, and I believe C.J. Stroud. So you got 4 quarterbacks, that'll be available to you. Do you try to draft, one of those 4, or do you go after an offensive lineman or wide receiver 1? If you're the Colts, what would you do with that number 9 pick? If, because I think probably Bryce Young should go to Houston. I would imagine he'd probably go number 1. But then again, like I said, you got a Williams, a Bennett, and a Stroud falling down. One of those guys should fall to number 9. What would you do in that position?
First of all, if I'm Houston, I'm gonna be right now. I should be focusing because you're not gonna obviously. You right now you're looking at the draft and who you want to get. But right now, Houston should be thinking about who's gonna be the coach of that team. Is Lovie Smith still gonna come back and retain and be the head coach because Lovie Smith signed a 1-year deal as their head coach.
Right.
Who's going to be the head coach of the Houston Texans next year? We don't know. Then after that, that's when you look at a quarterback if they want. I mean, if I'm Lovie Smith and I stay as a head coach, yes, I'm going to get a quarterback. Or if they get a new coach, is that coach going to want to get a quarterback? Who knows? But if I'm the Colts, I'm definitely going to be looking at a quarterback at number 9. Matt Ryan is old. He's not gonna play forever. I feel like they're gonna move on from Matt Ryan soon, and then your backup quarterback is even more worse. He's just terrible. So your best bet is to try and get one of those top 4 quarterbacks. And if I'm them, hopefully they can try and get CJ or Bryce Young because we both know that what's his name, this dude from Georgia, he's gonna, like you said, he's gonna go number 1 overall if Houston goes for a quarterback.
If they bring in Stetson Bennett, if I'm a Houston fan, I mean, I'm a Cowboys fan, but if I was a Texans fan, I would be so pissed. I'd be pissed. I'd freaking be pissed.
And don't forget, I mean, the Lions can also try and get a quarterback. Yes, they got Jared
You're
Goff,
right. I mean,
but they could look into the future. They could look into the future, get a quarterback now, learn under Jared Goff, probably 2-3 years from now, trade away Jared Goff, and start looking into the future.
I just think that when I'm the Lions, I'm looking at like, you know what? I got a pretty good team here, but I got so many holes to fill that I think I can still survive with Goff and fill a lot of other positional needs. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of like you said, they got 2 picks, so it can go a lot of different ways. If you don't believe your run game's good enough, you can probably get a running back. If you don't believe your offensive line, they're going to be there. There's a lot of
Jay, but this is the year for the quarterbacks. I mean.
It is. I mean, it is. I mean, I get it. Yeah.
If I'm the Lions and I want to think about the future, this will be the year where I get a quarterback because you don't know when you're going to get a good quarterback now because I don't see any of these future quarterbacks. I've been watching Alabama's backup. He doesn't look, suitable. So, I mean, you don't know what's going to happen in the future now. So if I'm Detroit, like you said, you got 2 first-round picks. One of those picks, I think the first one you should probably get, running game going, like you said, probably get a running back or another defensive man to help amp up your defense. And then with your second first-round pick, that's where you look at your future. Do you want to get another quarterback to learn under Jared Goff for the future, or are you going to go another route and go offense?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. I know that draft when it does come, just like the Heisman this Saturday, man. It's we got a lot of things still to look forward to as we go forward. So lots to look forward to. Frank, I'm gonna let you. I know you're ready to get ready to watch some more of that Lakers game. See how your boys doing. So we're gonna get up on out here. Again, check us out on Twitter on Unscripted Guys, all one word, no spaces, and that's Twitter. And then you can check us out on TikTok. Under Unscripted Sports, all one word, no spaces. Or you can check us out on YouTube under Unscripted along with the date of the show, and it'll pop up there for you. Or you can just go over to our Unscripted page on Facebook or check us out on All Sports, All Plays. We're pretty much in a lot of different areas. Give us a shout out. We love hanging out with you guys. And until next time, Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern, we will be back. It's your boy, Jay McLevin, with our boy, Babyface Logan, and none other than, apparently at this point in juncture, I can't read that, but I believe it's Frankie the Lakers C, also better known as Foxborough, also known as Frankie the Yankee, and just also known as Frankie. We love the man. He is our black blown, and he is our blood. Frankie always gives us the energy. Hey, man, until next time, we out of here. Y'all have a good night.